Welcome back. Today we join a craftsman as he builds a solid timber cabin from the ground up, starting with the very earth it stands on. A structure is only as reliable as its foundation, and here, individual concrete piers provide a stable base, while allowing airflow beneath the floorboards. The aggregate and cement are mixed by hand until they reach the precise consistency required for a strong cure. Once poured into the wooden forms, the wet concrete must be agitated. Poking and tapping the mixture forces trapped air bubbles to the surface. Voids left inside the pier would create weak points, compromising the load-bearing strength of the concrete once it hardens. Heavy timber beams form the primary skeleton of the floor structure. Establishing a perfectly square and level base is critical. Any slight deviation here will compound into massive structural errors as the walls go up. The builder cuts precise notches, known as half-lap joints, into the ends of the thick timbers. Removing exactly half the depth of each beam allows them to overlap seamlessly, transferring the enormous weight of the future cabin directly downward into the concrete piers. Wood chisels clear out the remaining waste material, leaving a flat surface for a tight friction fit. With the heavy joists secured, the floor decking is laid down. Nailing these horizontal boards across the framework does more than just create a usable surface. The decking acts as a structural diaphragm, locking the individual floor joists together and preventing them from shifting or twisting under uneven loads. Each nail driven tightens the entire assembly, turning independent beams into a single, rigid platform ready to support the walls. Lifting massive structural logs by hand requires more than raw strength. The builder erects a temporary lifting frame, using two sturdy tree trunks anchored directly into the soil. Setting the bases deep in the ground prevents the legs from kicking out under a heavy load. Secured at the peak, this makeshift A-frame serves as a robust anchor point for a chain hoist. Using mechanical advantage, a single person can precisely maneuver hundreds of pounds of timber into place. The tripod distributes the downward force of the suspended beam safely into the earth. Metal mounting brackets are bolted to the bottom of the vertical support columns. This hardware serves a vital purpose beyond just holding the post upright. It elevates the end grain of the timber slightly off the wooden deck, preventing moisture from wicking up into the core of the log and causing rot. Once the vertical columns are set, the horizontal roof beams are notched to fit over them. This interlocking joinery uses the weight of the roof itself to lock the walls together. A wooden wedge driven into the joint eliminates any remaining play, creating a rigid connection that will resist shear forces from high winds. the roof structure begins with the installation of the main rafters. These long, angled beams define the pitch of the roof, a crucial angle calculated to shed heavy snow loads and heavy rain efficiently. As the day stretches on, the rhythmic installation of the roof decking begins. Between major construction phases, a nearby garden and stone hearth provide essential sustenance. Survival on a remote build site requires maintaining personal energy reserves just as carefully as managing building materials. Returning to the roof frame, the rafters are firmly tied together at the central ridge. Opposing rafters push against each other, translating the downward force of gravity into horizontal pressure that actually strengthens the overall frame. As evening approaches, the builder installs wooden trim boards along the roofline. These fascia boards do more than create a finished look. They protect the exposed ends of the rafters from moisture and provide a solid mounting surface for future weatherproofing. The skeleton of the cabin is now fully established. With the roof deck finished, the focus shifts to creating an impenetrable barrier against the elements. Thick, black roofing adhesive is applied along the eaves to seal the vulnerable edges where water is most likely to creep underneath. Asphalt shingles are laid in an overlapping, staggered pattern. This specific geometry ensures that water running down the roof can never find a direct vertical seam to penetrate. Nailing the shingles securely prevents high winds from lifting the tabs. Each row builds upon the last, driving rain and melting, snow downward and away from the dry interior. A clear wood finish is brushed onto the exterior components, saturating the grain to block moisture and prevent the timber from splitting under harsh UV light. Attention then turns to enclosing the porch. Heavy horizontal rails form the upper and lower boundaries, while vertical balusters fill the gap. Beyond providing a crucial safety barrier, this railing system acts as a rigid truss. Nailing the balusters in place vertically ties the upper rail to the deck, significantly stiffening the entire porch structure. Checking each piece with a level ensures the finished boundary is visually clean and structurally sound. Access to the elevated deck requires a sturdy set of stairs. The builder marks and aligns the angled support beams, known as stringers. The geometry of a staircase demands absolute precision. An uneven step introduces a permanent trip hazard into daily routines. Pre-cut wooden treads are secured directly to the stringers. Each horizontal step distributes the weight of a person evenly across the angled supports below. Nailing them down tightly eliminates flexing and prevents the stairs from squeaking as they bear weight. To fully enclose the living space, glass panes must be carefully fitted into the wooden frames. A continuous bead of sealant is applied before the glass is pressed into place. This pliable layer acts as a thermal break and a draft barrier, stopping cold wind from slipping past the rigid wood. Instead of relying on heavy fasteners that might crack the glass, thin wooden trim pieces are nailed around the perimeter. The trim, gently but firmly, traps the pane against the sealant, allowing the glass to expand and contract slightly with temperature changes without breaking. Overhead, the builder finishes the attic loft. Screws are driven into the wooden planks instead of nails, ensuring a tight hold that will not loosen or squeak as the lumber dries and settles over time. This solid platform creates vital storage space, maximizing the functional footprint of the small cabin. The final entrance requires a door built to withstand harsh seasonal shifts. A chevron pattern is assembled with wood glue, allowing the angled segments to expand and contract without warping the door's overall frame. Heavy-duty brass hinges are bolted deep into the solid log walls to carry the immense weight of the thick timber slab. The urgency of the project is suddenly realized as the first heavy snow of winter arrives. The true test of any shelter is its seal. The craftsman checks the tight tolerances around the closed chevron door. Cold temperatures cause wood to shrink. Ensuring a snug fit now guarantees that winter drafts will remain outside. In the end, structure, landscape, and daily routine operate as one system. What began as a muddy clearing is now a fortified, self-sustaining shelter, standing quiet and secure against the frozen landscape.